Hello YouTubers and welcome to another episode. This week we're up Monroe, up a hill somewhere here in Scotland once again. And today we're talking about the rowing journey, how I ended up going from here to up here. So I'll take you through the journey of my journey. Hopefully you enjoy it. So to start off with, we're going to be looking at the YAM Squad HQ wall of my sister and I's sort of history. So, as you saw, that picture there was playing basketball, and that's really how my rowing journey actually started. It started with me going to America to play basketball at a prep school in Connecticut called Kent School. And so that picture of me playing basketball there was me playing for the basketball team at Kent School. And to fast forward through the basketball season, after the basketball season, there is a rowing season, and I thought to myself, I'm going to use rowing to try and enhance my basketball career, get a little bit of fitness, a little bit of variation. And then, after trying rowing for a couple of weeks, not only did I feel like, or I was getting told that I was doing well, but I also felt like I was enjoying it so much. And like I've said before, when you're able to enjoy what you're doing, it just makes everything that little bit easier. So I moved out to America for a year to go to school at high school for basketball. And then by the end of the year, it switched. My whole sort of plan switched from, okay, I'm going to go out there and get a basketball scholarship, to finishing the year with a rowing scholarship. So a big shift there. And from there, then it comes into most of these things on the wall. So you have my graduation picture from Northeastern, rowing picture there, a medal at Eastern Sprints. We've got a picture of some crews, my oar on the wall. And so we're going to be talking about basically these pictures here on the wall. So most of these pictures themselves are actually from my freshman year rowing, apart from the graduation related ones. So these pictures kind of take you through freshman year at the university that I went to, Northeastern University in Boston, Massachusetts, in the United States of America. And so this picture right here, we see on the 21st of April, stroking the freshman boat there against Holy Cross. Then you have the freshman crew there. Great picture of us at the national championships. And picture of us there at Eastern Sprints. So those three pictures there kind of demonstrate, or at least to me, hold many rowing related stories through my rowing career at Northeastern, especially freshman year. So me stroking the boat there, so I'd really only been rowing for that year. I hadn't been rowing a full year yet by the time I was there. I didn't stroke the boat for the whole season. The coach was kind of trying different people in different seats, and that was a lot of fun. I remember stroking that race, and then we raced Brown University and won that race as well. Then we switched different things up, but the people in the crew remained the same. We just switched to different seats. And then we went to Eastern Sprints, where we medaled there, silver medal at Eastern Sprints, absolutely amazing. And then we went to the national championships and got bronze, so third in the States in the freshman class. And this was pretty sure this was the last year you could race as a whole freshman boat at the national championships in America. And it was it was a really awesome experience just to be part of. A really cool experience to be part of. But that took me through my whole first year of rowing in America at Northeastern University. My second year was kind of similar again. So going into essentially my second year of rowing, things were moving fast. I was in a different country, but this time obviously I've had a couple of years under my belt rowing in the States, and I'm just really sort of, okay, I'm getting to grips with things. I'm starting to really get a hang of this rowing thing, and I ended up in the varsity boat for Northeastern University. The next 3 years that I was at the university, we went to Henley Royal Regatta, where we were finalists in the ladies' plate against this GB second boat, which was an awesome race to be part of. We ended up being, I think we were up by a length or maybe even 2 lengths, and probably a bit ambitious with that race, and then we ended up losing by a matter of inches. Not ideal result when you were thinking you were up by so much, but congratulations to the other boat that obviously beat us. And again, another amazing experience, my second year of rowing. And little did I know a couple of years before when I went out to the States for basketball that I would be back in Britain racing against international competition in a rowing boat, not on the basketball court. And in the third and fourth year, again, more experiences in a different country, a great experience, and I graduated from Northeastern. And this is what you get for graduating, an oar with your name there. So 2015, I graduated. And then you get a little banner as well from the university. And that's sort of the award you get presented to as you graduate from the rowing team. And there's me at my graduation as well, just getting my diploma. And that was a huge experience as well. Not really rowing related, but the graduation was at the TD Garden in Boston, which is like a huge professional sports stadium where they hosted the graduation. And then what did I do after that? I ended up in Henley-on-Thames at Leander Club. And Leander Club, where I felt like I really sort of kept progressing my rowing ability. Not only did I introduce some new PBs in the 2K and the 5K and all of the different erg related scores, but I also felt like I was still given the opportunity to keep improving with my rowing. So in America, I was generally, or pretty much, in fact exclusively, racing in 8s. So I was only racing in 8s and sweeping. When I got to Leander, it was very much not only racing in 8s, but at least at the start of the season, it was very much a pair focused rowing, but still sweep. But for me, a pair was drastically different to rowing an 8. So it took me a while, but being pushed outside of my comfort zone meant that I had to improve that bit faster. So the idea was to come back from America, row at Leander Club, and see how much I can improve, and see if I can get into the GB squad. So 2015-16 season was an absolute stormer. Again, really enjoying the process and really trying to see how far I can go. Ended up PBing in my 2K, was really feeling fitter, feeling stronger, and then we went to Henley Royal Regatta that year, and there was a controversial win at the Ladies Plate that year where our opponents in the final were disqualified. And then after that race, that summer, we went to FISU, the World University Games, and we won there in the 8, and that was an amazing experience as well. And after that summer, I was invited to join the GB rowing team at Caversham and train at Caversham. And from here till maybe 2018, mid 2018, ended up being, especially as I look back, it was quite a difficult process for me. So I started off, I came back from America, I was doing all the rowing in America, came back, really enjoying it, went to Leander Club, really enjoying it. And from here, it was a big change for me from that, really enjoying it and doing rowing for the pleasure of it, to then going to Caversham. It took just that little bit of a shift. Yes, I was still enjoying it, but it became more of a job, more of a chore. And even if it's just a few percent more like that, it can mean that everything, like I said, becomes harder because it's less enjoyable, or at least mentally less enjoyable. So going from there till pretty much the next 2 years, I always felt like I was struggling. I did manage a PB in my 2K by maybe a second, but my other scores were fading and I was struggling day in, day out, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Especially looking back, as a benefit of hindsight, I could see what was going on, but it didn't really click for me until the end of 2017 when I got my tonsils out. And that's when I started making these videos. Was when I got my tonsils out. I was told I had glandular fever, got blood tests done, and they were all over the shop, and it meant I had to take time off, rest, recover, get better. And it was there that the idea of that little bit less enjoyment wasn't that I wasn't enjoying the sport, it was everything was that bit much more difficult. So basically for the prior 2 years, I had been under the weather, essentially. I had been ill, but just enough where everything was, I was able to operate, but just not where I wanted to, and therefore making everything a lot more difficult, until I got the tonsils out, and that was a game changer. Obviously I was out for 2 or 3 months and had to spend months building back, and even a year or two later, so that was 2018, even now it's only been the last sort of 6 months or so that I've really felt like, okay, I'm now ahead of where I was. It's taken me a long time to get there, but from there, got my tonsils out, was dropped from the GB rowing team. Very unfortunate, of course, but it meant that I could then focus on me. I could focus on getting better, feeling better, and then progressing. And obviously it meant that I could then make these videos, make content that I thought could be possible, introduce the YAM Squad to the process, and just show the world what it's like to be a rower, whether it's at Leander Club, whether it's on part of the GB rowing team, or whether it's just being an athlete day in, day out in this modern world, just trying to show some positivity around the world. And so even that, a silver lining, if I didn't get dropped from the team, then maybe the videos would never have started. So now, the videos have now started. I've been dropped from the GB rowing team. So what did I do? I went and trained using the facilities at Leander. I couldn't quite race there yet because I wasn't fit enough, so I was training. And I did race at Henley Royal Regatta once I gained some fitness back. It was a really enjoyable process. We may not have been the fastest boat, but we had a lot of fun as a crew that year. We raced Henley and then knuckled down to some good training that summer. And so through 2018-19, it was a case of, okay, let's try and get back to fitness. Let's get stronger. So spent the next year trialing with James Robson in the Learn to Row pair, and going through there, had a really good time again, enjoying it, but still trying to get back to where I was, fitness-wise, technique-wise, where I was before I got my tonsils out. And then we raced at Henley Royal Regatta again, in the ladies' plate and the 8 for Leander, which again, it's the experiences in the crew that make the experience, if that makes sense. So you can be in a crew that goes really fast and it's great, or you can be in a crew that goes really fast and it's not so great, if that makes sense. The crew that year was really good, and I've actually had great opportunities to be in crews that have all been really good, and it's just the crew makes the experience, if that makes sense. And then after Henley, again, spending the summer trying to get back, keep on progressing the fitness and getting stronger and fitter to see what I can do rowing wise. And as I approached the end of 2019, it was just a little bit of a struggle for me mentally. Like I've spoke about before, I was just, again, trying to figure out what I was trying to do with myself, with the videos, with rowing. What's the, not generally what's the 5-year plan, but what am I doing and what do I want to do? And the idea to me was just to find that little bit more enjoyment, and it meant that I wanted to step back away from, say for example, I was at Leander Club, so step away from Leander Club training as that squad and go and train by myself, so that I could take, whether it's take a little bit of time to go do something different or take a little bit of time just to focus on myself for a little bit, be just slightly selfish and work on myself, not just in rowing, but myself as a self, if that makes sense. And then I ended up moving to Bath, down in England, not far, just a little bit west from Henley, because I knew guys in Bath to train with, and just have that, again, that little bit of a more personal target in life, not just in rowing. And it really took a massive shift from there, and it was really, really sort of interesting for me, where I went from rowing with the guys in the team at Leander and a very big team atmosphere to now it was very specifically training myself, and it was Charlie and I were training together, but it was just that very small, tight-knit, just pretty much us two, and if he wasn't there, it was just myself for 6 months or so, roughly. So I basically spent about 6 months or so on the rowing machine. Then, obviously, during that 6 months, coronavirus hit and lockdown hit, and it meant that my rowing journey was supposed to be, okay, we'll focus on the rowing machine, we'll really push hard in the weight room, and then get in the single and gradually build up in the single and see how that gets on and have some fun during the summer sculling. But obviously lockdown, coronavirus hit, and it meant I was on to the rowing machine for an extra few months, and which obviously gave me the opportunity to see, okay, can I PB on the rowing machine again? And I was able to, in the kitchen, in Zoe's kitchen, during lockdown, PB. And after that, again, there was a little bit of that, okay, what am I trying to do? And so, as always, when you hit a big target, or even go for a big target, and that target now passes, okay, it's what's the next thing to happen? So it took me a few weeks, maybe even a month, to think, okay, what do I want to do? What's going on now? And I had a talk with my parents, I had a talk with my friends. We're saying, okay, what to do now? And then again, the focus became more of a overall focus rather than just a one-dimensional focus, if that makes sense. So not just trying to make myself as fast as possible, but realizing that if I enjoy it that bit more, if I work on myself mentally outside of rowing, that could potentially lead to me being faster in a rowing boat or on the rowing machine. So then, now I have moved up to Scotland for a little bit of a refresher again, because remember, variation, one of the keys to motivation. And as you can hear in this journey, starting in Connecticut, in Connecticut at Kent School, then moving to Boston, Massachusetts for university, and then to Leander Club, and then training, still living in the same place, but then training at a different place at the GB rowing team, and then moving to Bath, and now moving to Scotland. There's been quite a lot of variation, and I've really seen the impact of that variation. And obviously it's not good to just sort of, okay, I'm bored now and move, but I've really seen the impact of what that variation can do, and having that focus of not everything has to be one-dimensional. Sometimes it's really good to have that one-dimensional, one focus, but other times it can be good to have a little bit of a breather from some things and force on some other things, and vice versa. But now that brings me to now, and what to do now? Well, I'm training with the guys at the START program and seeing what I can do. So I'm sculling, I'm doing some weights, I'm doing some ergs, and again, it's about enjoying myself, like going up some different Munros in Scotland, enjoying myself. And there's a pretty big piece of news as well that I'm also trying to do, but again, I don't want to jinx it yet until it's over there. But I'll let you know, YAM Squad, when that happens. The idea is it's definitely becoming more concrete, but within, I might make a separate video for it, but within 2 weeks all will be revealed. But that's for future YAM Squad to look forward to. And that is how I made it pretty much to here. Up as Benmore behind these rocks behind me, and then we're going up another Munro up here as part of the training now with the START program guys here up in Scotland. And my rowing journey has definitely not finished. There's still a lot of rowing life left in me, and hopefully you will be able to keep along with my journey as we head into the future. No matter how uncertain it is, it's always trying to grab those opportunities that do arise, whether they are big opportunities like climbing these Munros, having a bit of fun, adding that little bit of variation, or if they're really small opportunities, varying up a little bit of diet, varying up just things that you may not necessarily have thought of might make a big change. But hopefully you enjoyed today's video, YAM Squad, and it just kind of shows you how things can change, whether it's from year to year, from day to day, from week to week, from month to month. You just never really know where you're going to end up going in the windy, meandering path of life, just like the meandering streams and the meandering paths through all of the Munros up here in Scotland. And as always, YAM Squad, at the end of the video, thank you very much for making it this far. Hopefully you did enjoy it, and as always, remember to subscribe if you haven't already, hit that like button, and I will see you in next week's episode. Oh yeah!